So sometimes we get people joining the Discord like, hey, I want to learn Creole, Kouri Vini, but I gotta learn French first. Uh, as someone who did, let me tell you why you shouldn't. First of all, there's like literally the equivalent of saying, I want to learn AAE, so I'm gonna go learn British English first. Because pretty much anywhere in the world you take a French class, more than likely they're teaching you European French that's closest to the French spoken in central France, which is so far removed from Louisiana. I learned French first because French was the end goal in itself. There's some languages, indigenous languages, where you have to learn the colonizer language of that area in order to access the learning material in the indigenous language, because it's just not available in every other language. That's not the case with Creole. Like, you can read the learning material just fine without speaking French. If you did want to learn French first of all, like, that could take years, which is years taken away from your actual goal, where you're increasing the chance that you get sidetracked and you never actually get to the goal. Also, if you're learning this point of view that is so tied to France and French culture, I think there's also a risk that you're learning, like, that you internalize a lot of the prejudice that French people have against Creoles, which is the same kind of prejudice that English speakers have against English Creoles. You know, like, this kind of colonial imperial discrimination exists in like every language against every Ebonic language, right? Why would you want to learn that point of view and possibly internalize things that would make you devalue Creole? You know, I think it makes more sense to go for Creole first, so you know what it is. Like, you're sure about, like, you know, everything that comes along with it. You're not going to believe any kind of whatever people are saying. You stand firm in that. And then, okay, like, resources, sure, limited in comparison to other languages, but still, I've been at it for a while and I still haven't exhausted all of the resources. You know, like, there's plenty that you can make use of. And if you get to the point where you need to reach outside of that, I think it's better to go find those loan words that you want to borrow when you need them. Even as someone who already spoke French, I'm still learning and improving my Creole. And there's certain things that I've had more difficulty with because I had internalized what it means in France, which is not what it means in Louisiana. And then there were other things from French that I didn't know from France. Normally, I never would have noticed those words in France, because they weren't really, like, essential to understanding what was going on. But then they are more essential in Louisiana, so I had to know what they were. And then I would be, like, listening to something from France, and all of a sudden I'm hearing these words that I know from Louisiana, like, oh yeah, cool, like, I know what that means. There's other words that they come from France, but they have different meanings. And, you know, you don't want to have that France meaning internalized as like a subtext in your mind if it means something different in Louisiana. Like, Creole is like a whole ass language on its own, so it's like you don't really need another language. When I first came to Italy, I understood more Italian because I spoke Spanish and French than I understood Creole when I first heard it. Nobody's out here saying, "Ooh, I want to learn Italian, so let me learn Spanish and French first."